Thank you for joining us. I'm going to start with a couple of questions myself. You were born in Syria, so how much this film is related to your own childhood and your relationship with the country?
I was born and raised in Syria. Actually, I left Syria when I was 18, but going a lot of back and forth to Syria till the beginning of the war. So I was always living between the West and between Syria. Um, it's not my story per se, because Dunya is born just before the war. She lives the war while being there. She sees her home destroyed, and she does the journey herself. I did not do this journey, so it's not my story per se. But I think it's very much related to my childhood, to my core identity, because at least unconsciously, it's the way I see people, the way I see emotions, the way I see the world that I have put through the eyes of Dunya as a creator, as a writer. And it's a story, the story of Dunya and her family. The movie is a lot of story about the people I love, about a city I love very much, which is the city of Aleppo, and about the Syrian people that I love very, very much, because they're basically my family, the people I know the most, the people I'm the most close to. So in this, I'm very close to the story of Dunya. It's not related directly, because not any, it's not that there is a character that is exactly a character that I have known or that I know, but I think everything is much, much, much inspired or comes from something very deep in me, in my family, in my life, in my city, so I think she is me in a very subconscious way, let's say.
And the visual of the film are striking. And tell us a little bit, how do you build this world, and what are your visual references, especially the part that is related to Aleppo itself?
Well, first thing I have done ever before writing any line of the movie or of the series in general of Dunya was drawing the characters. So because drawing the characters, drawing Dunya, drawing her grandmother, drawing her grandfather, which are the three first characters, and then I and Shum, the little statues, these were the first characters I started drawing, was a big part of the thing that was going to be created after. Because while drawing the characters, while giving their characteristics, their personality, matching their aspect, like if we see that Tetamune is round and big with small feet and small hands and big round blue eyes, it's already, everything in her character is already in her physical aspect, in the way I drew her. So the first thing I did was drawing my emotions for this story, drawing my emotions for the Syrian people and for this culture through the principal characters I have done, and giving them names. So the visual aspect is very, very linked to the DNA of this project, of this film. And then from the way I created the characters, the animation team and the artistic team started building the world, but following my line, the way I draw things, the way I don't close. For example, I never close a form. I always leave some things. If you see in the movie, the forms are never quite closed. There is always something, a little glitch in the perfection. So everything was to match the way I draw, and it passes by me after, and it passes by me before, because I give references of exact pictures of different places in Aleppo. People who know Aleppo will recognize everything in the movie. This is they will even recognize the path. So let's say the path we took from the home to the citadel or to the souk is exactly the same path that anyone will take. So people from Aleppo feel completely at home. But though it's not completely realistic, it's realistic in the settings of the places, in the main places, in the feeling, it's realistic. But sometimes when we draw it with much imagination, some impressionism, you know. I want to feel the impressions and the emotions more than the exact architecture. So it's a balance between impression and emotion and exactitude. And this we tried to reach a sweet spot, which made the movie. I don't know if it answers your question.
It does. It does. One thing that struck me about the film, beside its beauty, is that it is a film about what's going on in the world, and in a country, and war, and a family having to leave the country, but it has magic. So at what that introduction of magic, I found it very interesting, and it's just not a narrative expedient. I think there is more to it. Can you speak to that, please?
Yes. I think you see right when you say there's more to this than the narrative only with the use of magic. I think it's linked to a profound personal experience and personal philosophy I have came into after 10 years of war. I was not in Syria myself when the war started, but I have family in Syria, my father, close people, and despite this seeing this tragedy among my people, seeing this enormous tragedy, seeing these millions of people leaving, seeing that this uprising didn't work well, and that instead of being better and of reaching a better life, the people have seen worse and worse and worse and worse. And now with the earthquake, I have, like all the Syrians in the world, I think, inside and outside Syria, went to some zones in my interior that were zones of despair of the world, the march of the world, very dark zones, very dark moments, like the night in Dunya, like when you think there's a night and there's no moon in this night, and then suddenly the princess of Aleppo appears. So this internal journey of going through something very dark, very with no horizon, with no hope, and seeing people around you with no hope of the future, but yet seeing among those people, among those children of Syria, among this population that has suffered a lot, seeing miracles happen because they are very resilient, because they are very strong, because life has a way of doing things sometimes that is miraculous, and seeing it happen in front of my eyes, seeing this courage, this resilience, this admirable people that are the Syrian people. And I'm not saying this because they're my people, it's because they were stunning in their resilience, and we often don't talk about this in the medias, but they were very stunning in their resilience, especially the children with their appetite for life, and seeing that in itself is miraculous. We don't have to look for magic only in the seeds of Baraka or in the stories. Magic and monsters are everywhere in life itself. They're not just in stories. In stories, it's just the symbolization of life, of the things that exist in life. So I completely believe that the world, it's at the same time darkness and light, and this is this rocking between darkness and light, and this road between darkness and light, from darkness to light. And this is our power as magicians, because I believe we are all magicians, like the little Dunia, because we are human beings, and being a human for me is being a magician. So it's not fantasy, it's completely reality. It's another way of seeing reality.
Do you have any question? There is one there.
Yes, thank you.
Hi. I was wondering how you balance such a serious and real story with sort of an intended audience that's younger, and how you make it engaging and creative while also tackling such a serious issue.
That's a good question. Thank you. Thank you for the question. That's a good question that I would relate to my previous answer. That actually something that is very important for me, or was very important, is not to hide anything to the audience, or not to try to mask reality to the audience, and not showing them what is real. That there are homes that are bombed, there are people who die, symbolized by the little bird. There are gates that we cannot cross. There are that there is injustice. This is all real, and I wanted to show it with reality, with a lot of transparency for the children, because I believe they deserve this transparency. They deserve this bravery when we talk to them. But at the same time, it was not hiding anything, but also not hiding the other part of reality, as I said in my previous answer, that this darkness holds within it the seed of the future light, if we look closely. And this light can contain darkness too, if we look closely. So to introduce them in a way to this paradox of life, that is, we are the creators of the light and the darkness. We have to navigate with grace inside this darkness and this light, and this is what makes us magical. And this is what makes DOUNIA magical. So I think this balance was found by being completely honest with them, as bizarre as it may seem. It was not hiding anything, and being completely genuine in my way of telling the story, and saying my real reality, my profound philosophy, without being afraid of anything.
Is the Princess of Aleppo a mythical character, a real historical character, a folk persona, or is your creation?
It's my creation. It's a myth I created, but it's done with the combining different things in the culture of the Levant, or of the Middle East and of Syria. First, the idea that when you say that someone is beautiful in our language, in our country, we say that he looks or she looks like the moon, or she is a moon, or he is a moon. So I wanted to play with this notion of someone who is the moon, and that the Princess of Aleppo has become the moon, you know, the most beautiful thing you can have, which is the light in the dark. This is basically the concept of the Princess of Aleppo. Historically, there was a Princess of Aleppo, but she was not like this. She was a very intelligent woman. So I took some things from this. She was a princess of some governor of Aleppo in 1,000 years ago, and she was very she had a lot of instruction. She read a lot. She had a lot of knowledge. So this is some aspect I used with the Princess of Aleppo, talking about the brightness of her mind, you know. And then it was my way of talking about death to children through a mythical creature that I have made, which was the Princess of Aleppo / the mother of DOUNIA / the night, the moon, etc. So yeah, she was my creation.
Any other?
Oh, I guess the significance of the stones is positive and negative, but is the stone something in Syria, something symbolic? The two stones?
Yes.
What do they mean?
Yes, the stones Ay and Shun are actually one of, they come from what we call the little eye idols. If you Google it, eye idols, the big eye idols statues in Tel Brak, which is a region near Mesopotamia in Syria. And they are very, very old, as they say in the movie. And they were found there thousands of little statues like this of different kinds. Some of them are couples, some of them are three, some of them are families, some of them are loners, and they carry different things with them. And they are believed to be, like I said in the story, in the movie, little idols people used to carve in stone and put on the temple of the gods, asking them for something specific. So let's say, protect my family. So they would do all the family in little stones together and would put them on the temple, asking for protection. And I think this is a very ancestral thing that humans did, carving idols with specific wishes or prayers and putting them on the temples. And I think we can still see that in some churches in Syria, let's say, or even in Italy, or even in the Mediterranean, where we would carve different things, different prayers, and put them on the icons of the Holy Virgin Mary, or different saints. I think these are different practices that are very old in the humanity, and that were transmitted from a generation to another and from a religion to another. So I wanted to use them for two reasons. The first reason is as you said, that they symbolize good and evil, but also they symbolize the two fractions of when there is a war, or two brothers that love each other but cannot be together, so they fight all the time, so they have to learn to live and to coexist. So this this pull between, I want to be like this or like that, I'm more like this or like that, can we live together if we are so different? This is the question that they ask also. And the other question that they ask is, can we see the life in a positive way? Like I always sees the world like, oh, it's beautiful, oh, I love that, oh, he's candid in a way, but at the same time he's very afraid of everything. And Shum is much more with her mind, not as candid but not as afraid. So it's also this push and pull between both that I wanted Dunya to carry with her, because everyone carries that within them. And I wanted them to symbolize also the vast history of humanity, and that Dunya is not traveling alone. She is traveling with all the humans since 5,000 years old, 10,000 years old, who has always migrated and who has always been through struggles. So these were the reasons why I have put these idols that I found very appealing and interesting and mysterious in the history of humanity. If you Google them, you will see there is an enormous variety of them, and they are all very intriguing as little aliens. We don't know where they come from. Thank you.
The other question I had is the magical seeds. Are they pomegranate seeds? And if so, are they considered very special in Syria? Seeds in general?
The magic seeds are not pomegranate seeds. No, they could have been, but they're not. They are Nigella seeds.
Which?
The
Sorry?
Nigella seeds, the black common seeds, the little seeds, the black little seeds that we have sometimes in Oriental cuisine. And they
yes.
are considered very powerful in the Arab and Islamic culture. I think they were cited in the Quran itself as being able to ward any evil except death, because they are used to preserve food, enhance the taste of food, but also they are used for many medical reasons, like you have a stomach ache, a headache, to give more milk for the mother when she's feeding the baby. So they have this ancestral magical quality within them. And I enhance this.
You said they're
And
cardamom seeds? Sorry? Sorry.
Nigella seeds.
Oh, excuse me.
It's a blue flower. You see
okay.
it at the end of the movie where she waters a blue flower.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, that's right.
So, yeah, it's the Nigella seed.
I have one more
So,
question. Sorry. Where has this film been shown? Where have you been able to show it?
The film has been shown. It was premiered in Paris the 1st of February, and it has been in movie theater around France for a month right now. It has been in Belgium too, in movie theaters. It's coming in movie theaters in Quebec in French on the 20th of April. And we are dubbing it in English very soon to have it across Canada. Maybe we hope in the US too. And it has been shown so far in many, many festivals around the world: Morocco, Sweden, Germany, Spain, France, Italy, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and now we're preparing also in Lebanon and Syria. And we have a dubbed Arabic version made in Damascus by Syrian actors too. So we're very happy. Even Australia and Argentina. Thank you.
And yeah, I have a question. The film is also very special because, like your background, it has a combination of Eastern and Western, both culture and religion. You know, and at a time where it doesn't seem like they could ever be in the same place or coexist peacefully. Why was it so important for you to have this message of possible coexistence, even if troubled?
Because it's the core of the Syrian culture. Actually, it's not a message, it's absolutely the core of the Syrian culture. I have thought a lot about what was the Syrian culture, the Levant culture, I would say. For me, it's large. It includes Lebanon, Palestine, and Jordan, and a bit of Iraq and south of Turkey, you know, everything, Cyprus also. So this is a culture that is at the crossroads of, it has been a very important crossroad of ancient humanity and of a lot of commercial roots since the beginnings of humanity. So it's a culture that is exactly the mixture and the junction between the West and the East. It's not completely Eastern. This is why it's called Middle Eastern, and it's not completely Western. And it's really the crossing and the links between the two that make these cultures. And it's a region in the world where many religions coexist, especially to the three main religions, which is the Judaism, you know, Christians, and Islam, which are the three religions that are very much alike because they come from the same source, but they coexisted in great harmony. I have lived in Syria when they were in great harmony, Christians and Muslims, and it's still there is no war of religion, let's say, per se, in this region. It's instrumentalized for geopolitical reasons. This is something very important to say. And so it was not only a message, a political message. It was kind of a political message to show that this is not the problem, you know, but you cannot talk about Syria, I think. You cannot talk about a city like Aleppo without showing three main things of it, which is a citadel, a church, and a mosque, because they are completely rooted in this culture. So I myself am a Christian of Aleppo, with a very strong bond to Arabic culture and with a very strong bond to Islamic culture, and vice versa. An Islamic Muslim from Aleppo would know some church songs, would know churches, would go to churches, would be very much entangled in the Christian life. So it's the DNA of this region.
Thank you, Maria. I think this is all we have time for today, and thank you so much again. Thank you for the film, and we'll make sure to bring it back when it gets an American distributor, so it goes to our wider audience as well.
We would love to. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me and for your presence. Thank you, Giulia.